Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel for another video on Gran Turismo 7. We're back with another track guide. This time we're at Deep Forest in Group 4, driving on the medium tyres with BOP on and obviously default setup. So this is for the upcoming Nations race. I've decided to use a Silvia for the guide because I think this car might be slightly better in the race conditions, purely because it's going to be a no-stop race. You will not be doing a pit stop in this race. It'll be a flat-out race with ×4 tyre wear, 18 laps. So tyre wear is going to play a factor. So it's going to be important that you pick a car that's not only pretty good at the track, but also pretty good over the whole race distance of 18 laps. So that's why I've picked this car to do the track guide with. I don't think it's got the ultimate one-lap pace of some of the other cars, but I believe it's not too bad and it should be pretty good over the race distance. So let's get on with the track guide and try and help you out as much as possible. So obviously, final corner. Try and get a good exit from this corner, nice and narrow into the apex, on the throttle nice and early, and power your way out of the last corner. And carry in as much speed as you can. This is all very simple. The start of the lap, it's completely flat out. And this is one reason why this is going to be a really strange track for picking the car, because you're going to need a car that's got quite a bit of power, but also you need a car that's going to handle well. So this part of the track is where the Silvia might struggle slightly. But going into turn 1, you're going to look for the 100 board on your right hand side and the start of the curb. Either one of them is a good reference for braking. And just as we approach the 100 board, you can see the braking inputs going on there. That's where we're getting on the brakes, and we're going to go down through the gears into third gear. Just before we see the apex here, we see Nick in front of us, the Corsair. He takes a slightly wider line than me. I go down to third gear, then down to second gear. Keep an eye on the braking and the gears. We're going to go down to second gear to rotate the car a little bit, then back up to third gear as we clip the apex. You see that Nick takes a later apex than me. That enables him to get a better exit from the corner. So that's one thing I need to try and do, is turn in a little bit later on that corner. But I do like taking that tight line. It gives you a lot of grip. Now through here, it's completely flat. You're not going to touch the brake. You're going to just get your left-hand tyre to touch the edge of the curb there, and then rotate it into this right-hand part of the corner. And again, you're going to use some of the grass on the right-hand side. You can see Nick ahead of us using the grass on the right-hand side. So make sure you're taking a bit off that. Now, what you'll see is just before we get to this corner where you're going over the grass, you're going to lift off the throttle, then back onto the throttle. And then just about here, you're getting on the brakes nice and early for this next flowing corner. So you're just putting a tiny bit of braking input in there. You're not going to be aggressive. Down to third gear, and you're going to use that left-hand tyre to take over some of this curb on the left-hand side. You can see Nick ahead, cutting that corner slightly, and then just try and keep the car nice and stable for this right-hand corner. Now you're going to be braking before the end of that different shaded colour on the left-hand side for tarmac. Back up to third gear nice and early here. You see down to second, then back up to third. You're going to be doing that trick quite a bit with this car. Again, as you hit the brakes here, you can see, again, Nick is taking a slightly wider line than me, which is going to enable him to carry a bit more speed through this corner. But you do want to stay nice and tight to this apex. You see Nick ahead, almost touching the grass on the right-hand side. That is the perfect line for that corner. Back up to third gear, on the throttle nice and early, and carrying as much speed as you can. Now again, through this corner, your right hand tyre wants to stay on the right hand side of that white line. Do not go to the left hand side of it, because you will get dirty tyres and you actually will get a penalty for it. So be careful on that corner. Now through here, again, you're going to be taking a lot of the grass on the right hand side with your right hand tyre. You can see attacking the curb, and then as soon as you're on that curb, you're hitting the brakes and getting ready to slow the car down. This is just a tiny dab of the brakes, very short amount of braking input going in there just to slow the car down. And then you're back on the throttle, you can see, onto the curb, and starting to put the throttle inputs in on the exit of the curb. Now we're going to be working our way into the left-hand corner, braking in between the two shades of colour. Again, you can see you've got a different shade of colour on the bridge, braking a little bit closer to the start of it, down to second gear, then back up to third gear. I started to get a little bit of a drift going because I turned in a bit too early. You can see, again, Nick taking a slightly wider line, giving himself better exit speed. You can see I just about managed to save it, though, and keep the car on track. Now use as much width as you can on the exit of that curb. You can really get away with pushing all the way up to the wall. Just be careful you don't hit the wall, and you should be safe of getting any sort of penalty for that as well. Now working our way down the straight, it's pretty simple, flat out, all the way down the straight, and working our way into the final braking zone, which is extremely tricky. I look for the 100 board on the right hand side, try and brake just before this 100 board, but to warn you, this corner is extremely difficult. So braking input going in just before that 100 board, and now we're going to try and slow the car down as much as we can, down through the gears, stay to the right a little bit, then start rotating the car in. Now at this point, you see I go quite wide. Nick takes a tighter line. He uses first gear to rotate a bit better. I try that as well. We get a bit of rotation there, back up to second gear, and try and get on the power as early as you can. But Nick gains about 2 tenths on me on that one corner. You can see there in front of us the Ghost just pulls away, much better exit speed, and then it's just completely flat out through this section all the way to the finishing line. But not a bad lap overall. A couple of attempts lost in that final corner, which would have probably got me a 0.6, I think it was. Let's have a little look as we go over the line. This is going to be a 1 minute 32.8 flat pretty much. Yeah, that final corner probably lost us 2 attempts, so it could have been a 32.6. But watch the lap again from the chase camera now, and again we'll see into this corner turned in a little bit too early, so I've got to try and maybe take a slightly wider line there to get better exit speed, but it's not too bad. It's still got reasonable exit speed, just not quite as quick as Nick, but Nick is extremely fast on this combination, I've noticed. So again through there you can see about using all the curbs, all the track width, and again you can see using the exit of curb there and nearly grazing into the wall. You can really get away with pushing right up to the wall on some of these corners. Again here you can see right hand tyre just stays to the right side of that white line and attacking over the grass, getting the car rotated in on the power nice and early, and then into this tricky left hand corner you can see just almost drifted it in there, but just about saved it with the upshift to third gear and got away with it and didn't hit the wall. So you can see how much you can extend on the exit there. You can really get away with pushing out wide and carrying speed all the way up. It's so important to carry that speed there, because carrying the speed on that corner is worth quite a bit by the time you get to the end of the straight. So try and get that exit speed sorted. That'll be where you gain a lot of speed on this combination. Again here you can see maybe braked a fraction too late, got the car rotated though, but missed the apex ever so slightly, so there is a little bit of time to gain there, and because of that slightly missed apex it reduces your speed all the way from that corner all the way down to the finishing line. So there is definitely at least a tenth just on that one corner, but overall pretty solid lap. Hopefully this track guide can help you out for Friday's Nations race. And yeah, we'll obviously be doing a practice lobby, trying to get some races done on this combination. Whether it'll work or not with GT7, I don't know yet. But yeah, let me know in the comment section if it helps you out. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already subscribed, and I'll see you all soon. Bye everyone.